So today I'm going to talk about an article that I just read yesterday night. So I'm going to talk about first I will say the article, who is the author, where I found it. After that I will do an introduction for you. I will explain the main points. And my interest, my personal feelings about this article. So let's start with, I have a question for you. Does anybody know what is a biofuel?
Yeah.
Could you please tell me?
You mean the biofuel?
What?
It's just like use part of the animal. Like, I don't know how to use English.
Okay. Essentially, a biofuel is like you get natural resources to convert that kind of components into a fuel. Okay, that is the main thing about the biofuel. Another thing, a fine. Does anyone know what is a fine?
No.
No, a fine is the amount of money that you have to pay for government. Sorry. Okay, so that is amount of money. So my article is related to the environment. It's called a fine for not using a biofuel that doesn't exist. I found it in New York Times online. It was written in January the 9th of 2012, so it's very recent. It was written by Matthew Wald. Okay, let's start with the introduction. The article talks about, in a sense, that the government is asking the oil companies, member of this industry, oil industry, about a fine that the government is asking for, that they pay. Okay, why? Because the government put some indicators for the last year. Sorry, those companies didn't reach the level. So the government is now asking for a penalty for those companies to give the money back, because they incur they didn't do the right thing. Okay. Okay. The main points of this article is that by the law of the United States, all the government is worried about reducing the emissions, the emission of vehicles, the nation's greenhouse emissions, by increasing the efficiency of the vehicles. How they could that, and how can they could be more efficient? Just incorporating renewable energy to the fuel. And because of that, the vehicles don't contribute more to this green atmosphere and all the pollution in the air. So, okay. Also, by law, there are three. The government put three like different kind of indicators that the companies had to comply last year or every year. So the first one is the fuel that is made from biomass. That is it's a different kind of fuel. All the companies reached that number, so they didn't have problems with that number. The second one is fuel from biological materials. That is something related, but with a different kind of components. Also, the companies didn't have problems about that. And the problem was in the third one, that is the fuel made from cellulose. The cellulose is a very specific kind of component that these companies had to use it, but they didn't. They didn't. And there are two sides about these arguments. One, of course, the ones that is in favor and against this payment. So, what do you think that people that are against? What do you think? Against to pay this amount? Okay, oil industry, because they have to pay that amount. So they refute that the cellulose, this component doesn't exist. So how can they put this component into the fuel if the component doesn't exist itself? So that's why they didn't reach the level. And they say also that there's no sense for paying that fine, because it's like a crazy thing. Like, there's no sense. How can I use this, but this doesn't exist? Like, so that is the main point of the people that are against that. And on the other hand, the council, the government of the renewable energy, says that is the right thing to do. They don't need to reduce that amount for this year, because it's that they have to do that in the future, and they have the stronger reasons for do that. Like, is the climate change is something that is between us and the oil insecurity. Okay, so pretty much is like my article talks about. It was a discussion between who are in favor and who are against. So why I chose this article? Because it's part of my new study, my new study field. You know, I'm so interested in knowing this kind of new topics for me to get more involved, and also because it's very important to the environment, because I'm looking for answers and everything. And what was my reaction? For me, it was like informative thing, because it was a lot of information, new information for me, that I'm trying to figure out how can I get more involved. I have my opinion of this controversy, that I'm in favor of the government. You know, like the government put those standards or levels because they know that that is possible. So there is a part of the article that those companies, those oil companies, didn't do, because they didn't want. Yeah. So maybe it's a matter of self-conscious, or maybe if I don't want to do that, just skip it, and I have to pay for the consequences. So that's my opinion. Okay, I don't know if you have a question for me, if the content was clear.